I'ma make it real big far to the moon, past stars and beyond. Where I'm from, if you do better, niggas dig right for the cheddar. Set up a setup, be careful, they try and get you wet up. I keep it on me, that 38 special, my homie. When I do it, hit it's me only. Nigga, you bitchin', you ain't about that action. Did all that big capping and jump police on me, you fuck niggas phony. Better stay out these streets. Chopper bullets going through bed sheets. Rockabye, little baby, sleep. If you want beef, no peace, no. They say they my bro, but they talk about me.
HP Knuckles, the leader of HP Club.
Live.
Today I missed my workout, but it worked out. Now I'm missing work now, but it worked out. I just bought a crib up on my first house. Had my first kid, I love how she turned out. I love how she turned out. Even if I'm burnt out, I'ma have so many seeds. I could have a birdhouse. I'ma love on they mama. I hope it work out. I hope it work out. Luckily, my ex ugly. I don't eat.
He said, luckily, my ex ugly.
Hey, what happened with that music?
I ain't. The studio closed due to the coronavirus.
Yeah, no, I was just in there.
Nah.
Then they just say we was in the studio.
No, me and him was writing. Zay was lying. We was writing though.
Hey Zay, do you rap or no?
You know I can't.
Hey, you wanna know what's crazy? He cold. Listen, he can rap about food on my kids. He's been doing it since we was kids.
Hey, man.
Since we was in middle school, the punk can literally make something up about kids.
So he rap about food.
A couple snack raps together.
Oh, we on Facebook? We live already?
Yeah, we got 12.
Oh, why is doing that?
What?
You feel me? It's late. Oh no, there it is.
It's late. What's going on, y'all? Tune in. They've been listening to us talk. Tune in.
Hold on, why I ain't in
Like, share, add, subscribe. So it's switching between 3 cameras.
Boy, who told you to do that high tech stuff? You got money. Hey, Freaky say, quit moving, bro.
I can move up. Move your chair back some.
So is we gonna see the comments and stuff?
Can I share this on my page and it'll be live on my page?
Oh yeah, I'm finna go share it too.
Yeah, y'all share. Subscribe too while y'all ain't here. Hello, we can't subscribe to the YouTube. Oh, you live? I gotta learn how to do that, yo. Alright. Alright, we can get rid of this. Alright, y'all. Alright, hold on. Let me put this on my thing. Let me put this on my... I ain't got no service in here. No, we will do it. Alright, y'all, what's going on? Let me know if y'all can hear us. Please comment and let us know if y'all can hear us. But I got HP Club in the building. Got Trust 9 in the building. Rico, we rockin', man. My first video, that was they song I put on there. So, I got HP Club in the building. I'm gonna let HP Club go around and try to kind of introduce themselves. Tell the people who you are. And then I don't know who want to do the introduction of HP Club and tell what it is. That's up to y'all.
Yeah, I'll go. I'm HP Knuckles, Long Knuckles, HP Knuckles, whatever you want to call me. We just a basic car club, man. Car enthusiasts. We get together, build cars, do some racing, try to stay out of trouble. That's pretty much about it for right now. We have some events coming up. Unfortunately, it's all kinds of due to Corona. So for right now, man, we just chilling, working on our projects on our cars, some race cars, and basically just staying out the way. So
y'all see me on Facebook under Ricky Bobby Wilson, but everybody knows me as DJ. Worked on cars in the shop for a little while, but I met up with these guys. We get our cars and stuff together, build them, race them, break them, whatever. The same thing. We just gonna keep repeating the process and.
Yeah, I got money. Going better. Building, breaking, racing. Yeah, I got money.
I'm HPT Rico. You might know me as Rico, but HP Club got 2 of those, so I just say HPT. I build, race, break cars. I rap too, like you said, that the first video we've ever done was me and my brother. A lot of you know me, a lot of you don't. If you don't, get to know me.
HPZ, you might can't see me, I'm in the back. I build, break them, build them, everything as well as just everybody else that said. We build cars from ground up, restorations. We're the restoration business, so if you want to get involved with us. We the HP Club, we trying to involve everybody and, expand. Expand.
Yeah, man. I'm personal, man. These are my kids, man. This is my oldest boy, man. HP Knuckles.
And we got a few guys that ain't here too. They couldn't be here, but I mean, this us for right now, so we can go and get straight into it. Rico, I see you watching.
All right, y'all. So I'm gonna just go ahead and I'm gonna start it just like this. I don't know nothing about cars unless it's an alternator.
I thought you
want to say you
or battery.
Yeah, you said you taught us everything.
Listen. Cars is different nowadays from when I was growing up. Boy, you know what I'm saying? Them cars is made different now. They what do you know about an alternator? What don't I know? I used to make alternators. That's what I used to do over there at Fat White's Morris. That's what I did, was make alternators. For boats.
Man, this gonna be a long day.
Oh, but no, for real. So, who want to talk about the events y'all got coming up? Like, I know y'all said y'all.
No, we had some, but they put on hold. So the event that we gonna come out with, I kind of don't want to talk about it now because we ain't got no date for it. So we had a date. It was Father's Day, June, whatever Father's Day was on this year. So June 21st, we had an event. It was gonna be free food. Everybody come out and just celebrate Father's Day, man. Pretty chill event, car show. Maybe have some awards here and there, but I mean, we really couldn't get into how we wanted to. Like I said, this stuff happening, and we on hold for right now. But when everything do open back up, that is going to be our first event. But I mean, no telling when it's going to open back up. So for right now, we just on hold. But be on the lookout for that. We're going to call it HP Party. We got the flight. We got everything, man. But like I said, everything just on pause for right now.
And everything is free. We got entertainment. We gonna have bouncy houses. No cars. Bouncy houses for the kids. We gonna be having one of the best chefs on the grill. You know what I'm saying?
Free food.
Free food.
I'm the best.
We got the
gotta bring the kids up.
Yes, sir. The kids for sure.
Bouncy houses, man. So yeah, we gonna put it together as soon as everything get back right. So y'all just gonna look out for that.
And I got a question. So is y'all gonna do like a burnout type joint? You know what I'm saying?
No, we ain't gonna do. I mean, you can do whatever you want.
No. I ain't saying like. I'm saying like. You know what I'm saying? Since y'all gonna have a car, they just gonna be sitting there looking.
Yeah, we gonna have a car. Okay, it's a car show. We judge the cars or whatever.
They gonna sit there and
we sit there. But I mean, it's always gonna be some action.
We more so. That's all. Yeah, we ain't gonna say too much on the action side.
That's all I'm saying.
We more so introducing ourselves. You know what I'm saying? Motorcycles gonna be out there. The truck.
Oh yeah, we
what you get? 608 trucking it. The bike club gonna be out there. Say what else?
So what made y'all form HP Club?
Happy.
Okay, let's back. What do HP stand for? Is that just it?
It's horsepower. It's a shortened version of horsepower. We've been knowing each other for a while, so we always been together. We just never put a name on it. So.
Alright.
Group of little ugly dudes. You know what I'm saying?
I decided to add names. So for the viewers that may want to join HP Club, how do they go about?
So we go about doing our joining by attending our shows, attending events that we attending that's not necessarily our shows, but like I said, for right now, we really ain't got nothing in writing because we just started at the beginning of this year and the last year. So I mean, there's really nothing set in stone because we're on roll for right now.
But you gotta have a car. You gotta have a car. You gotta have the horsepower before we. Because they told me that I can't be HP Club till I get my HP. So you gotta have HP.
If you don't got a car, man, and you're working towards getting something fast, something that's gonna do some action, man, and then we can talk about you joining. But I mean, it's pretty simple, man. We just a bunch of guys like to work on cars and be fast.
And we race.
And if you got a car and you don't know how to work on it, you can come talk to us. We're going to help each other out.
Oh, so y'all
But we ain't mechanics. Like you can't go on and like, hey,
I got a 06 Bonneville.
I need my brakes fixed. I done went up now. This nigga has to work on cars. Okay.
Cause he instantly just
Hey, the hoodies though, the hoodies is for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
What can we do?
Them can be purchased through Knuckles. You can have any one of us.
But it's like a lot of people was buying the hoodies. Shout out to everybody that got hoodies, man. We really appreciate it, man. But everything was on hold for right now, so we ain't getting no hoodies made, no hats, I mean, we stuck for right now. So
hey y'all, we didn't even see y'all commenting.
What's good,
doing that? Yeah, take it all the way down. Yeah, there we go.
So we're gonna keep loading.
Yeah, so to keep on, so we can see the comments, and then we got the call in. We got the HP logo up top. Y'all welcome.
Oh, we got a call in too. They can call us and say.
We got.
Oh, okay. Okay. You know, I ain't reading no screen now. I'm just talking. I talk too much. That's my. You know what I'm saying? That's my thing.
So, anything else about HP, guys? Hey, you come on, man.
Oh man, all I can say is, man, we got the love for the cars, so man, just keep the love going.
Yeah,
love for the cars going, man.
We do got a YouTube channel, HP Club. Follow us, like us, share comments,
Subscribe.
We got a Facebook, we got an Instagram. The Facebook is we still getting up, but we got Instagram, we got YouTube. So check us out, man.
For sure.
Yeah, most definitely.
Hey, we for the people too, though, man. We gon' when school get to coming back around, when all this die down, we doing giveaways for the kids, book bags, supplies, all of that.
Raffles, man. We gonna have WiS'Qo be in charge of that. WiS'Qo Ford, we gonna have him be in charge of the raffle stuff.
HP4, y'all see it. He said his name on here. HP4, he in the comments. He HP Club too.
Alright, so now let's get into the conversation I wanted to have. I'm glad we got who we have in the room. So before we get into the conversation, can we just go around and just tell our ages? Because we're gonna be talking about generations.
Yes, sir.
So we want to get like if we can get like a picture or an image of how many different generations we actually got in the room. You want to start up?
Yeah, I'm 37, man. It's crazy though, because everybody think I'm an old head, man. Just I guess I'm only 26.
Bro, this one in the room, 28, be 29 in July.
I'm 26, but I'm an old school fool.
I'm 22, and I'm broke as fuck.
I'm 22. Everybody usually say I'm damn near about 40 though, the way I
Wait, bro, am I 22?
No, your birthday. You is your birthday. I'm 22 as well. In the mind, I mean, I ain't gonna, I'm like 50 in the mind. I'm old here, but
Okay, so actually, my man actually prompted this conversation. So I shared a post on Facebook, and he commented on it. And when I read his comment, I'm like, dang, I done been there in that same spot. So I'm like, man, you trying to come on a podcast? And then I'm like, yeah, I got HP Club, so it's a perfect deal. So what I'm gonna do is, I'm gonna see if I can pull up the actual comment. Yeah, there we go. Oh dang, I can't. I exited out of
it was on Facebook.
Hold on, who is that?
Here,
We're gonna talk about that
who is that?
I ain't got nothing to do with that, babe. I'm really watching.
later. Man, he in trouble early.
Here, let's pull it up. I can pull it up. I gotta find it though. Let me see. See if I can find it.
I had to disagree with him because you can't have people around you that don't disagree with you.
That's true, and I'm glad you did.
Yeah.
Facts, man.
I disagree with a lot of y'all all the time.
That's alright.
You don't count.
You said you don't count.
The greater debater.
Hey, I'll be on Facebook lying. But alright, so here it is. It says, never before has a generation so diligently recorded themselves accomplishing so little. So let me pull the comments if I can.
They can read that.
Yeah, they can see that. Yeah. So, my man said, I hate posts like this because it's misleading, considering the fact that this is the generation of social media and technology. Honestly, if the older generation had all the shit we had, then we would have been doing the same shit. So I said, I'm that generation. I'm older than Google. So then he said, instead of posting, they had to go broadcast the little accomplishments in person. That's it. That's all. So for me, that struck a conversation because I sat back and I started thinking, like, man, there was a lot of things, that I felt as if the generations before us didn't do for us as we was coming up. So I'm going to share one specifically. Let me get rid of that real quick. All right. So specifically, I remember back when I was in high school, you was there when I was there because Dr. Jenkins was principal. Shout out Dr. Jenkins. So there was he had a mass assembly for all minority students. And in the assembly, he was talking about a news article that was released about minority students saying how our grades were low, our test scores and stuff like that was low. So he was more or less saying, okay, this is what they saying about you all, so let's do better. And he got like a whole lot of backlash and people attacked him from that. Like it came from everywhere and it was like a whole big deal, right? So I remember being at a meeting at the American Community Center and I said that if you talk about back in the day, like before I got in school, when there was an issue in school where there was racist, poor test scores, minorities being treated differently, whatever it was, there was a group of African Americans, whether it was an NAACP, it was concerned parents, whatever it was, but they came and they acted on the students' behalf. So that means they did more than share stuff on Facebook. They did more than talk amongst themselves about what's happening. They actually got together, said, hey, we need to go to these school board meetings and nip this in the butt now.
Get involved.
Yeah, they got involved. So now we speed up to us, that's missing. Like, I haven't seen any parents get involved. Well, let me take that back. I have seen parents get involved, but it wasn't on that level, if that makes sense. Like, I think there was a little more seriousness added when it was then compared to now. Because, I mean, I know a couple years ago when I had the mentoring program, a lot of people were saying, we graduated at an 80 percentile from the high school, but then you got students coming to me at Community Action, and 60% of those students can't pass a basic TABE test. That's not okay. So what are they really learning? So again, this is the conversation of the generations. Like, anybody want to add anything?
So it's basically back then, like he said, they acted on the issues that they had at hand. Like he said, whether it was the NAACP or the concerned parents or whoever it was, they acted on the situations. Now it's kind of like everything illegal now. You can't just go up to the schools and groups of people.
You can
talking about. Well,
you can.
You kind of can, but you kind of can't. You know what I'm saying? You kind of can, and everything is technology and electronic nowadays. They having the teachers meet with the parents on FaceTime, and the kids got the iPads and they doing the homework at home on the iPad. So the teachers and the parents don't even really gotta have face-to-face contact. So it's like a lot of parents don't even know who really teaching their kids, or a lot of parents don't even know who classroom their kids sitting in.
DJ just said that's a disconnect, and I think that's a disconnect. That's a problem, because I think that problem even flows over into dating in our generation. Like that disconnect of the social, the physical, and the screen time. Like that's a serious disconnect. Like
it's in the long run, it'll screw up a lot of kids, though. You know what I'm saying? Like, cause I see like how school is now. I know we are a different generation now. I don't know like who was y'all teachers and principals. We probably got a few of the same teachers, but like I've been to alternative schools. You know what I'm saying? And when I went to alternative school, that was like one of the best things that happened to me versus regular school with the technology. You know, alternative, we about here and it's us and the teacher. Mm-hmm. You know, and I had ended up building a relationship with my teacher, and so it was more so we had a connection. So she was there the whole ride. You know what I'm saying? Even my mom, notice like our connection, you know.
Right.
So that's who she think when I graduated.
And those type of relationships are important. That's what I'm saying, because once you get into the Zoom meetings and we gonna just email on this. Nah, I'm still the type. Listen, I need to come in. Yeah, there was an incident with my daughter. She was 4. She was at preschool, and a particular teacher was basically saying she kept having problems with my daughter. So they were calling every day, and it was to the point where they were saying we needed to come and sit in the class. So you know what I did? Went and sat in the class, and I just watched. I didn't say a word. I just watched. I literally watched this whole class. There was like 30 plus 3, 4, 5-year-olds. One teacher. So when the class was over, I went and talked to the principal. I was like, yeah, she's not going to be here for long. She's like, what you mean? I was like, that teacher ain't going to be here for long. Because what I noticed was she didn't have patience, first of all. So doing something like that, you have to have the patience and the passion to do it, or you'll just, totally drive yourself up the wall. So I was like, she don't got the patience. Like, you can literally sit there and tell, because when I asked my daughter what it was, my daughter would say, oh, I don't like her because she's mean. My daughter ain't really, if y'all know her, she ain't really the type to just, lie. Like, if she do something, she gonna tell you what she did and why she did it. So, that was a conversation, but it took for me actually going in, and again, I'm considered a young dad. So me being a young dad, even going on, they had like breakfast with dads or something on Fridays, going to stuff like that. Like, I would literally be like one of the only or few actual dad in the room. It'd be granddads and stuff like that. So like, again, that's back to this disconnect of like, the importance of our kids, the students that are upcoming. Like, I don't know, man. It's just.
And you gotta think about it, like back then, like when I was going to school, like I could just think about it from all the way from. I remember going to school and preschool from all the way to 12th grade in high school. The teachers that I had a bond with, or I was close knit with, always was the classes that I excelled in. Mm-hmm. Like the teachers that knew my mom, and the teachers that like frequently talked to my mom and frequently was checking up on me, or the teachers that were just willing to build bonds with individuals, not just, oh, this is just a group of kids in my classroom. I always excel more in those classrooms, rather than being in classrooms with, like they said, like teachers that's, with the disconnect and not actually in tune with.
Yeah, just getting a paycheck.
Just really getting a paycheck. But at the end of the day, that ain't the type of job to be just getting a paycheck, because that's the youth is the future. You know what I'm saying? That's really all we got to even try to make a change on any type of level is the kids. So.
Facts. I agree with everything y'all saying, and this topic we can talk about this for days, man. I mean, I got a few things to say about it. I mean, one, my mom's a school teacher, man, so I see it firsthand from both sides. The school she worked at now, she said that when she first got there, the kids was hectic, man. But over the time, over the next few months of her starting, she built a bond with them, and now it's she's saying these are the best students she ever had. I think for one, it's the teachers, and not saying all teachers are bad. All of them ain't good, it is what it is. Right. So it's the teachers, man. If you have a teacher that I guess it's the students too as well. If you have a teacher that didn't grow up the way that you grew up and don't understand you, you already got an issue. You can't relate to the things that I've been through. You can't relate to. If I say, I'm growing up and we poor. We ain't got no food in the house, and I'm coming to school and that's bothering me in school. You're not gonna understand what I'm going through, and as a kid, I can't elaborate on what the issue is either.
Most of those ones.
My second thing is, it's crazy because when I first found this out, man, I was kind of upset, but I just learned to grow with the times. You can't even just walk into schools no more.
That's what I was saying. That's what I'm trying to tell him.
Like, it's crazy, bro. Like, it's like, I feel like when I go see my kids in school, it feel like
They in jail, bro. They in jail, bro. They're in jail, bro.
That's supposed to be because we have a lot of mass shootings.
Right, and I understand it, but you just see what I'm saying.
Times has changed.
Exactly, and you gotta kind of go with the times. You know what I'm saying? But
and so like while we talking about time, so one thing that I used to say when I had my mentoring program, so I used to have a lot of meetings with like people that I was usually always the youngest one in the room, and my message was always like, you never find the answer to these problems without having the people that are directly affected in the room. And I think moving forward with everything, like that's the old way that people used to do stuff. I say it all the time, and people hate when I say it. The old way won't work no more. No, there's not even especially looking right now at this pandemic. When life goes back to normal, the old way we did life will not work anymore. Like it's just not going to work. Like there's gonna be things different that we used to do, we can't do anymore. But with that, it's like, man, if you don't bring the people that are directly infected, like if you don't lace up your boots, come from behind your desk, and actually go out there and see what's going on and talk to the people that are living this, you'll never find answers.
The thing about it is, though, like you said, like it's not gonna work no more. And that's another thing. That's like you saying, like with the generation, like not even so much y'all generation, but the generation before y'all, or 2 generations before y'all, maybe even 3 generations before y'all. A lot of them people from that generation is stuck in their ways and trying to do stuff the way that they was doing stuff 30, 40, 50 years ago. Yeah. And like you just said, it's not going to work no more. It's not going to work no more. So you got to change with time. Ain't that what Knuckles said?
So this is going to be a different conversation, but what you just said, in the churches, those of you that go to church, like that is like the main focus there, because a lot of our generation are not in the church, and that's like one of the biggest reasons, because of old way don't work no more.
I got a question for you. So I know you personally, so I want to ask you a question. Going back to what you said with your daughter. So recently I had seen the mother of your child post a picture of a card that a teacher sent her. They haven't been in school for about 2 going on 3 months, and she was just saying that she missed her and sent her a card with some hearts and stuff on it. And I want to ask you, with that, I can see that they have a relationship. You know what I mean? So, is it better for her now that she's out of that environment she was in with a teacher that she can actually?
So I didn't even finish saying. So what I ended up doing was,
that was a while ago, right?
I pulled her out of that school and put her in a whole new different school with some educators that I knew on a personal level, and from there it was a total difference. Like even talking to those educators, like it had to been something with that teacher that was making her. I mean, different things trigger kids in different ways. So like, if you're doing things, and that can be a whole nother, but yeah, definitely like.
So how y'all feel about like what's taught at home? Because a lot of the kids go to school and it's a lot of absent. It's a lot that's going on at home. So when they go to school, they don't know how to. Like I know some people. I probably was one of them. I was good at home, but they come and they don't know how to release stuff. They don't know how to. You know what I mean?
That's the disconnect I was talking about. It's like if you grow up one way, you know how you grew up. I know how I grew up. We all know how we grew up. If you see that, you identify with that. If you got somebody that didn't grow up like you and they just dropped them, like when I was in Chicago, when we was living in the city, we didn't have no white teachers. And not saying it's just a race thing, but honestly, we didn't have no white teachers. So let's say you take a white teacher from the suburbs, say Schaumburg or something, and drop them in the city. It's going to be different than, and I mean, it ain't even just about being white. It could be an Asian teacher or a black teacher that grew up in the suburb. It's a disconnect, man. Like you don't know, you don't know what I've been through. You can't relate to me. So being able to teach me something, or being able to help me with something is just crazy.
So Danielle says that most kids just need someone to listen to them instead of judging and disciplining them off jump. That is true. Like that's totally true.
Kids is tricky. I know this. I got 5 of them. Been tricky. Kids.
Wait, how old you say you was again?
This is the thing about kids, man. This is the thing about kids. Kids is smart. they way smarter than they know. They way smarter than a lot of y'all know.
They operate on a genius level.
Literally. So it's like she said, Danielle, you gotta listen to kids. You gotta respect kids because you want them to respect you. You got
that's a big one. That's a big one that a lot of parents don't get. They have you gotta respect.
This my kid.
You know what I'm saying? You gotta respect them. You gotta make kids feel kids want to feel needed and responsible, like they got responsibility. Kids need responsibility. You gotta make kids. You feel me? You gotta make kids feel like that. You gotta let your kids know that you trust them. If you don't trust your kids, they gonna do all type of stuff to betray that trust that you don't got. If you gotta trust your kids and you gotta discipline them. Discipline them don't mean whooping your kids at all. That's not what that means.
So she made a valid point, but I want to point something out because she said most kids just need someone to listen to them instead of disciplining and jumping on them. So, but you got to be the person to know what you're listening for. Like you can't just be listening. Like I mean, I hear what you say. I hear what you're saying, but you got to know what you're listening for. So, like, there's instances that I've had, like students in my program where they always had a hood on and music blaring, and put their head down, sit in the back. Usually, they trying to escape from reality. Like that's their escape. That's their safe place. Nice. They rather be away from reality than involved. But they want to be, but they just don't know how to. That's their escape. So again, you have to listen, but you got to know what you're listening for. Then she said you have to make them feel comfortable enough for them to open up to you. That's true, and that's build a relationship. So teachers get what are those Kim folders. So my advice, I've only been a substitute. So my advice to teachers was always when you get students like we'll use me as an example. Cause y'all know me, I was bad. Like I used to get, and that's just because I wanted to be bad. Like I used to get a whooping. Hey, listen, I used to get a whooping before school, and I still go to school and act up.
You ever get a whooping in class?
Nah, man.
My uncle just tell me I'm gonna come and whoop you in class. You ain't gonna be able to sit in your class.
I never did though. My little brother did though. That was crazy, man. But go ahead.
But for me, so like, if a teacher was, if I was being the person that I needed when I was growing up. So say I had a teacher that I knew was going to get Kevin Young. I would tell that teacher, hey, you should get to know Kevin Young before you read that Kim folder, because that Kim folder follow him through life. So you should know Kevin Young before you read that Kim folder, so you don't make a preconceived notion about who Kevin Young is. Because as soon as he do something that's anywhere related to that, it's gonna trigger it automatically. You're gonna be like, oh man,
and then you feel like you know him. Yeah, you're ready to file.
And Ms. Bailey said kids learn from someone they know cares. That's true.
That was my teacher.
Educators,
and it's crazy though. I just want to point this out. I never got Ms. Bailey as a teacher, but me and Kevin used to go up there when I started working with him, and kids just love it. I mean, everybody. So I mean, what she's saying is valid, man.
And for sure, kids, it's like the younger kids is like, it's like they almost got like a sixth sense. Like it's like they could sense like bad energy and good energy, and bad vibes and good vibes. I know when I was a kid and I had this teacher, her name was Miss Wookie, Kim Wookie. If you see this, I love you. For real. Swear to God, favorite teacher ever. And I was a kid, and I met her in like 3rd grade, and she just had the best energy ever. And I go through life, and I done forgot some teachers that I had. Like, you know what I'm saying? You have a lot of teachers going through life. I done forgot some of her, and I ain't never forget her. You know what I'm saying? She had a big impact on me. Like Miss Bailey said, they learn from somebody they love.
And that's what matters, is being educated, because like, I've had educators that the community looked up to this person. One, because
she tagged Kevin and she tagged Miss Wookie.
One, because this person was a minority. Two, because they had status in the community. But for me, as Kevin Young, I hated this individual, and I didn't understand why everybody else looked up to him, because I dealt with them on a personal level, being that was my principal in school. So I seen the way he kind of just threw me away. Like, I would get in trouble, and I would go down there, and he would just, ISS or suspended. He wouldn't even ask, all right, Kevin, what happened? That didn't matter. What I had to say again. So with parents, this goes back from parents, educators, period, respecting, because what I say should matter. Like he could at least took the time to hear me out. And again, like kids pick up on that if
you don't listen to kids.
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
fine. But I seen somebody else comment.
Yeah,
a minute ago.
When he said teach credit in school? Or?
Yeah. Somebody said
That was
something.
That's my cousin.
Oh, okay, yeah, said teach credit in school. My thing is this is my biggest thing, right? And anything in life, it's like ain't no need to complain about it. It's like, what are we gonna do? We identify a problem, right? What we gonna do about it? Because it's a lot of stuff that
you don't want to ask me because you
I
want an idea right now. What we can do about it?
There's a lot of stuff that go on that ain't okay, and it don't sit well with a lot of people. I mean, what are we gonna do about it? You know, so say you got X issue. Okay, we know about this issue. How are we gonna solve it? Versus just saying, "Oh yeah, that's an issue. That's an issue. Yeah, I agree with you. That's an issue. Yeah, we can all complain all day long, you know, but it's like, what are we gonna do about it? You know, and that's a huge thing for me because they didn't teach credit in school.
Right.
Most people, I mean, that's a whole nother video. That's a whole nother subject. Yeah, it's like that's a big thing. Man.
Can we touch on that? Let me read Danielle's. Then I want to say something about that. So she said, I work with special needs and generally ed kids, and there's been plenty of times where I've intervened with bad behavior, and after me listening to them and hearing them out, they're hungry. That's true because I mean, again, they can pick up on who's taking the time to actually care and listen to me. I mean, you can sit there and listen, but that energy is real. Like, people pick up on vibes and energy. So when it's like, please don't kill my vibe, like, you know what I'm saying? That's real. Like, we understand, we see that. But you were saying something like, you said we identify a problem. What are we going to do about it?
Right, because as a people, as you know, anyone from our generation or from where we grew up at, you don't see nobody taking a stand. Like, okay, so for example, I done seen maybe 5-10 posts within the last year or so saying that they wish that they were living back in the civil rights days with Malcolm X, Martin Luther King Jr. and this and that. But I mean, how do you think those great heroes of ours became the people who they became? And it's like, we all know about these issues. These issues ain't secrets. It ain't like, oh man, we all know about it. What are we gonna do about it? All right, we identified it. Now what's up?
Right. What's next?
So I'm gonna say something to that. I like to say that I'm a solution-based protagonist. That's what I like to say about myself. Cause when so when I identify a problem and I feel like I want to do something about it, I do it. But what I've seen in Beloit is that, okay, the problem can be well known to everybody, and the moment you start doing something about it, here come hate, envy, and non-support. But at the end of the day, you're probably helping these people directly. But that support that you need to make sure that you can do this and keep. Prime example, the superintendent, Dr. Williams. So Dr. Williams was here from Milwaukee. He came and he listened to the cries of the people. So, I mean, like, this man came, he met with anybody that we felt like was somebody and told him he needed to meet. And he asked what was concerns, what does the district need, what does the students need, and he tried to adhere to all of those problems, right? He was here, he did it, he was really for the people. But once everything hit the fan and they began to attack him, the black community was nowhere to be found. Yet they gave him all these problems, all these things that needed to be fixed. But when it was time to back him, how he backed us, where was they at? And that's some educators, leaders in the community, you name it. Like, where was they at? Like, and that's the thing. Like, people come. We've had a lot of great people come through here that I would consider on that Malcolm X, Martin Luther King level, not to that extreme, but just the mindset, the capabilities, and the will to do. But when it's time as a community to back these people, we hands off. But we gonna complain. We gonna get on Facebook. We gonna make statuses. We gonna talk.
That'd be my point.
We gonna complain.
It's about what our problem here is, though. Is another thing is like coming together. It's more like what I've seen from our city is competition, and that's what everything. You know what I mean? It's competition, and that's kind of like where it was. Like with us starting this group, you don't see too much of that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't trying to like put us on Front Street, but
seriously though, you don't see none of it. I mean, and if it is there, I mean, somebody hiding it real good.
For sure.
It ain't no competition, man. We all just
let's grab these comments real quick. So go on.
I work with special needs kids before.
Say who said it first.
This Dre Allen, my barber, the best in the B. You know he's I've worked with special needs kids before, and yes, talking very well does go a long way, and they chill and calm down. But the next day, it's like they forget, like the talk didn't register, like they were, like they was listening.
Let's pause right there. Let's answer that part. So there's a poem that you all should look up, and I believe it's called "I Forgot My Pencil," and it's about a teacher basically getting down on a student because they didn't have a pencil. But the list said that you don't know what happened last night. Basically, you wasn't there when my mom was getting beat on last night. You weren't there when my mom was. We slept on the floor last night. We slept in the car last night. So that I mean, you gotta understand, like, school and home is two different environments. Like, school is a lot of times an escape for students. So they come to school probably to eat, to get away from things that are going on at home. So yeah, when they go back to that environment, they're subject to it. So of course they're gonna go back. It's like they're programmed that way. So you can't turn around 10 plus years of programming overnight.
Or that's like
something you gotta repeat every day. Like, you gotta do that every day.
You gotta, and it's like kids want attention. Like, kids cry out for attention. That's all they doing. If he or she come to school and you talk to them and you listen and you give them to calm down that same day, and they go back home and they come back the next day. So now you got to reevaluate yourself. Is you listening to the right things, like Kevin said, or is you even saying the right things? Because you can literally get down to the nitty gritty with that kid. Like, listen, it's Thursday. You acted out every day until it's Thursday. What's going on? You know what I'm saying? What can we do to change it so you don't come to school tomorrow, Friday, and act like this? You know what I'm saying? What's going on at home? If you don't want to talk to me, we can get you with some counseling or.
So
you know what I'm saying?
I would say try add some incentives to sit down with that kid, make a plan, and make a goal, but make that goal incentive based. So you say, okay.
What do you mean, for the parent?
No,
for the kid.
For whoever. So he said he does with a kid like that. So if you're the educator, I would say sit down with that kid and talk and say, hey, I see you've been having trouble with X, Y, Z. So we're going to start fresh Monday, but this is what I want you to do. Every good day you have next week, I'll give you $5. We can start at $5.
To me,
everybody love money. I'll give you $5 for every day you be good. That's an incentive-based goal. For me, I want that $5. I don't know about y'all.
To me, it's about, I think it's all about, one is you kind of you pick your job, so you got to prepare for it. But when it's in a field like that, it's more so of building relationships. Because I worked at the Boys and Girls Club for 4 years, and I was a kid. It taught me a lot. I was in high school. I worked there all 4 of my high school years. When I first got there, it was like, it's like, because that's a variety of kids. You got kids with, you know what I'm saying, special needs. You got all type of different kids. And when I first came, I thought the job wasn't for me, because I'm like, damn, I'm in school, I'm bad myself, you know what I'm saying? So then that's what kind of helped me. It helped me kind of gather myself together, because like I was working with kids and I'm still in school, and so when I go to school and it'll be kids in younger grades than me, I'm talking about, I done seen the kid full blown cuss out the teacher. Teacher don't know what to do. They just sit him in the hallway, wait on their mom or dad to come. I'm gonna come holler at them, like, you know what I'm saying? What's up?
And then you got kids like.
You got read Danielle reply. Right?
Yeah, I'm finna just touch back based on what Dre was saying up here. It's like you got these kids or whatever, and they come into these schools and they got educators like yourselves dealing with these kids, and honestly, it's like every kid got something different going on in their head, so you got to deal with every kid differently. Me personally, I was going to school, I was super smart, right? I was super good at math at school. Hey, they laughing, but anybody who know me know this. I was super smart in school, like super smart. So when it was time for me to do math, it was too easy for me. So what I do something dumb to get in trouble, because I'm I'm already past y'all what y'all got going on. You know what I'm saying? So I think we just need to learn how to, or we need to get on these educators level, on the school board or whatever, so we can try to channel these kids' energy into something that they good at instead of making everything the same for everyone.
I'm gonna just say this: when the schools start back, I'm getting involved. Like I was gone almost a year. It'll be a year in August, and I just sat back and watched, and I was really disappointed at the lack of involvement and showing up from us on behalf of the students and what they just the school district as a whole. Like so I'm gonna definitely be involved. I just want to say that. But
a big problem I see is the people above us listening to us. You know what I'm saying? Like he said, this is one thing I learned from Kevin. I was in his mentor group, by the way. He said he'll be in or they'll have these meetings. Like to this day, they have these meetings about issues. Just say it's the city having meetings about a lot of 16-year-olds killing. Just say it's the rate of young boys going to jail for murder is high. Okay, so what they'll do, they'll have a meeting. If we go in that meeting right now, you will see no 16-year-olds. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. You gotta bring those. You
gotta bring the crowd that you're trying to reach is not there. Why? Because they think they can solve it. We're gonna touch back on that. Yeah. They think they can solve it the way they used to.
Yeah, that's like you saying, like me saying I'm having a problem in my relationship, but Knuckles, I want you to give me a solution for my problem on my behalf, but I won't give any input and I won't be in the room when y'all talk about it. Right. Like, you know what I'm saying?
How he gonna hear?
How is he gonna solve it? He don't know how I feel. He don't know what I think. He don't know if I even want to mend it. He don't know nothing. So that's a setup for failure. But let me hit what Danielle replied back. She said, what I do is checking them as much as I can through the next couple of days at school after that incident to let them know that I am there, which is good reassurance. That's good on relationships. Having good communication skills is part of a relationship. So if they need me and that someone is thinking about them, it's different when working with special needs because they don't register things the way general education children do. It's all about consistency. Absolutely. Kids need consistency. They need schedules. From the time they are toddlers all the way up, they need consistency.
Toddlers?
Yes.
Infants.
You're right. Schedules matter. Consistency matters. Consistency matters all the way up until you're an adult, whether you believe it or not. So Martha says that
I totally agree. Kids cry for attention. Usually the kids who cry for attention are the ones who are struggling the most academically or behavioral issues. These are the kids I look for their school.
Absolutely. So when I had my program, right, they were like, okay, how are you gonna recruit? So what I did was I was like, well,
it was referral based, right?
No. So what I did was the high school, when school starts, they have an assembly in the beginning of the school year every year. So I would go to the assembly and I would literally scan the crowd and look for what I want to call high flyers. Like they talking, they're not listening, they're not paying attention. Those was the ones I wanted. I didn't want the ones that was doing great. They had A+. Nothing against them. They were more than welcome to join, but they wasn't on my radar for me to come ask you. So I wanted the high flyers because at the end of the day, they have the energy to do what they need to do. It's just that it needed to be reciprocated in a different direction. So that was a part of me saying, it's like, okay, I use this analogy with potential. So like I grew up in the church, so I make this analogy where if you walk into a church and you're struggling with something, the mothers of Zion or the mothers of the church, and they recognize that you're struggling with something, they don't just sit there and let you struggle. They say, all right, come on, lift your hands. They're going to pray, and they're going to find a way to get that thing out. That's the same thing with potential. Once you recognize potential in the kid or whoever, once you recognize the potential, you've got to find a way to grab a hold of it and pull it up and make it come forth. Because if not, it'll even just lay dormant. A lot of people ain't self-motivated like we are. A lot of people ain't going to get up and say, hey, man, I'm trying to do better than I did yesterday. I mean, just off a general purpose.
Yeah, and a lot of times, it ain't the it ain't just the kid and what they were born with. It's from home. It could be stemming from situations that they got going on at the crib.
Absolutely.
You getting put down every day. You getting talked to a certain way that you do got potential, but now you just finna ball it up and put it in your pocket because it ain't nothing to do with it. And that's like, nah, I ain't gonna. I'm cool. I ain't gonna go ahead and step like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's a lot of things why. There's a lot of reasons why kids act the way that they do, and I mean even up to adulthood. Like I think in this generation, with the up and coming generation, it's a lot of. I mean this one too. I mean you got a lot of. They say men mature at a lot later than women. They say men mature around 28. I see it a lot later than that personally. But I think it comes from childhood, from how you was raised. You know, you got men being raised by women, and
you know what I'm saying,
and nobody to teach them right or wrong. You know,
I'm gonna just say this.
Crazy,
I think our whole generation is childish. Cause I mean, we make a joke about everything, we laugh about everything. There's a pandemic going on,
So this
we made jokes.
So this is about generations. So like Knuckles said, you got men that's grew up out here that wasn't raised by no men,
extremely emotional.
You got men, you got boys that's forced to grow up way quicker than they actually had to.
Right, and then that's part of the reason right there. Let me stop you right there. That's part of the reason why a lot of them are emotional. Because they ain't had time to learn how to process emotions. You know, everybody got emotions. So people say it. I'm not trying to say it like, I ain't got emotions with nobody. But you gotta learn how to process that. You know what I'm saying?
And you gotta learn how to recognize emotions. So in the household, you used to get taught emotions: happy, sad, mad, disappointed. Mm-hmm. Now you get emotions from music, social. But there's only two emotions that are relevant. You either happy or you mad. 0 to 100. Like you got disappointed. You got.
Right, but even if you're not taught it though, even if you're not verbally taught it, you can see it from the male in the household.
Or you still.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now it's a whole thing where we're trying to take men out of the household so we can continue on.
Can I start it?
That's why I said we could be here.
It's a branch
talking about this, man.
It's a branch off this subject, but I have to get y'all opinion on this because we talking about boys not having that man in their life and coming out different or whatever. But so the mom got to be there. She ain't got no choice. So a lot of people say. Girls do what they say. They see their mom do it, whatever. But so this what confused me the most about my generation here. So we got a lot of my generation got kids now. So when I was young, my dad wasn't around, but my mom, she made it happen. You know what I'm saying? Regardless if it was a lie involved, if I called them and asked them for anything or whatever the case may be. It wasn't no bashing him. I've never heard them even argue about him not doing nothing for me. You know what I'm saying? So now, me seeing how stuff is now, like my generation run to Facebook and just bash their kids' dads just out the. You know what I'm saying? Off the rip.
It's not just women though either. It's men. So you got men bashing women, and you got women bashing men. It's an immaturity level.
Yeah,
it's a difference.
So for me, I have children, and my children don't all have the same mother. So I have a rule that I follow with them.
We gotta get that one. We're going here.
We gotta get both of them. But it's that so we'll never bash each other on social media. It's just like
it's pointless, bro.
If you have a problem with me, we gonna talk about that. And never see social media.
But my goal is so say you have a problem with a guy on the street a little bit later today. Mm-hmm. You can go on Facebook.
No.
What's the? I don't understand.
If I see your left and I miss it, you can hit me this right. Do you still do it?
Running to Facebook with personal problems. I've never in my life understood.
Yeah, man.
So what's the conclusion?
The one thing I see about when people run to Facebook is they always get their confirmation bias. There's always going to be someone that agrees with them, and then when someone comes on and disagree,
it's an argument.
Also known as better known as dick riders. That's what the generation call it today.
My mama just told me. She said that nobody stand on their own. If one person say something, everybody fucking believe it.
Man,
like, come on, man.
And that's why I'm sorry, but that's why I try to bring in a lot of young boys growing up as I can, because like me, that was my biggest thing is followers. But it take a real leader to say they've been a follower. I've been a follower before I was in the street. You know what I'm saying? I done did it all.
A great leader is an even better follower. And that's just that.
Let's get to some comments right there.
Okay, so Derek Beth said the school district doesn't even give out homework nowadays. I'm honestly looking into private schools because I feel the curriculum isn't up to par. I'm glad you.
I don't think the curriculum is up to par.
It's not. I'm glad you're doing that because I want to open a charter school and I want to. I'll talk about that later.
Man, you thought it was gonna go like that.
Definitely. So, what you talking about?
If you know, you know. You best know what I'm talking about.
So,
this is what I wanted to get to, man.
How do you
that one word?
How do you feel about schools dealing with bullying? From experience, my son went through it. The principal was fully aware and seemed uninterested in even fixing the problem.
Hold on.
We pause around. We get to that in a minute, man.
we can only take one comment at a time.
Delete that comment. I gotta walk
We'll
over.
get that in a minute because I know what's going to happen.
Hey, pause. Hey, Shelly, we got the whole schools in this little ass box with us.
Hey man, we gonna stay on topic, man. I really want to get to this about bullying.
Me too.
And my thing is, it's always different than the next. Everybody always gonna be different. My thing is different because everybody know that I done boxed and I'm a boxer, whatever.
On what?
I ain't heard about that. How that right is though.
So how I raised my kids, and I got all boys, so how I raised them is a lot different than how other people raise their kids, especially single mothers who can't teach their kids how to fight. Like, for example, I always give an example. Like, when we was living in the city, we'd go out, we always got in a fight, so people always got into it, and we'd come home like, yeah, we got into a fight. My mom always tell me, well, did you win?
That's my mom to the T.
How am win a fight and ain't nobody ever told me how to fight? How am I supposed to win? I mean, that was just crazy, but my point is, how I raise my kids, I teach my kids everything I know about fighting. So they know how to bang, they know how to get down, and they're not going to look for a teacher when it comes time to do so. Because I told them to be like that. You know, they don't look toward somebody to come in and help them and save them. For one, because, I mean, you're in danger right now. Mm-hmm. Somebody doing something to you. Do what I showed you and get down. No questions asked, and then you deal with me later. Don't worry about the schools or the teachers. But on top of that too, though, the second thing is I'm raising men. They young men. So when they get my age, if somebody hit me right now, or whatever the case, hit somebody in my family, whatever the case, and I need to step up and be a man, there's nobody who I can turn to. I can't call somebody and say, hey, somebody just ran in my house or just hit me. You know, can you help me out? I gotta do what I gotta do. You know what I'm saying?
That's like
teach them at a lot of people.
That's what
single moms or even dads that don't know how to fight or stuff like that, it's like, man, what do they really do?
That's what's up.
But I teach my kids not to look for no teachers.
It's the thing, like, you got, like, Kiana, who, like, do she ask her baby daddy to teach her son how to box? Or do we address the issue at school because they shouldn't even have to come to that?
Is that a question or you just...
It's a rhetorical question, bro. You're supposed to be smart.
Say you a dad, right? And you don't know how to fight, right? Bro, you're not, bro. I'm gonna talk about you, man. Say you're a dad, right? And you don't know how to fight. So it ain't no teaching your kid how to fight. So it's like, what step do you take? That I don't know the answer to because I'm not. Seriously though, no, but for real, that's why. But really, to answer the question though, what do you do?
What's crazy? Go sign your kid up for martial arts or boxing or something.
Because as a man,
what's crazy? Today earlier, I'm in the garage with Zay. He just, I don't know, he in trouble, so we walked out. But Zay and we play all day. If you notice, I asked him, did he know how to fight? And bro told me no. I said, you think I know how to fight? And he was like, yeah, you learn how to fight in the street. Come on, man. It was a joke, though. He's like, yeah, you learn how to fight by fighting. I never had to fight.
Yo, man.
So, you know what I'm saying? It just, on that teaching level, but like me, I learned how to fight. I I grew up in a household with my brother. We ain't had no dad there. We just got out until we couldn't no more. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
right. But what do you do? Person who can't defend themselves, don't know how to defend.
This is a single mom with a son.
So what do you?
This is the topic we talk about.
DJ said, don't talk to me. Get mad.
The reason that I wanted to touch on this is because this ain't the first time I've seen something about bullying. I constantly see moms get on Facebook about bullying that's going on in the Rock County area, and it's like, and it's not
okay. That could bring us to something. That could bring us in this group right here to something. Because, like you said, we got she on here. You said her son getting bullied at school. You said you seen the young woman on. You seen
a few.
You seen a few.
Look, hold on. So she says yes, they teach him to defend himself, but he chooses not to put his hands on other people. He's too kind.
Okay, but
my son is the same way.
This what I'm saying.
Fight with his friends, knowing damn well he can, overpower him, but he chooses to fall back.
Okay, and this got a lot of discipline. This what I was saying. So that goes to if your kid polite to where, like DJ said, his son don't want to hurt another kid, and if your son is the same way, Kiana, like I said earlier, then we got to address the system. Like, why is my kid getting bullied at school? This is supposed to be a safe place.
Okay. So my thing to really answer a specific question to a specific person, which is Kiana, you can't really answer it without getting too personal. You know what I'm saying? Like, what was done in detail? What are they doing when you come to them saying my child is being bullied? And to be honest, I kind of already know the answer to that because they're not going to tell you what they're doing to the next kid.
The crazy thing about that, though,
but again, this is what I said in the beginning. If this was a generation or two before us, stuff like that is a no, because there's people that's acting on the behalf of their children.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I feel like y'all not understanding me. But what about this? Is what I'm saying, bro. This is what I'm saying. The system need to be addressed, bro. This is literally what I'm saying, bro. We gotta address the system.
The school district of Beloit, when it comes to minority and their children, period, needs to be addressed. I'ma just put that out there.
Hey, bro, we got an even bigger problem than that, though, because like not saying, because I'm gonna raise my kids the same way as bro raised his, you know what I'm saying? But the bigger issue than that is we got the authorities, you know what I'm saying? Like, when I was in school, like, I got expelled from school for defending myself, you know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't pick a fight with nobody. I ain't getting bullied, but you know what I'm saying? It was an issue that I got addressed about it, and I felt threatened, so I reacted, you know what I'm saying? And something like this happened recently. How old is your little brother, bro?
13. He 14.
He 14 years old, and he was getting bullied in school. This was like probably a month ago. I mean, when they were just in school, about 2 months ago, he was getting bullied in school. So he got tired of it, and he handled his business, you know what I'm saying? And they tried to get his 13-year-old kid a case. A case, you know what I'm saying?
That's where school shootings and all this crazy stuff come from. I mean, and it's not just the school either, bro. So y'all got to think about the bigger picture. It's the child, right? Mm-hmm. So that child is coming from or something going on, but my kid ain't finna be getting hit, man.
For sure.
Ain't nobody having that. I mean, seriously, ain't nobody going for that. So what do we do about this?
And then you got moms who, like Kiana, her son getting bullied, and it keep on happening. Y'all push her back against the wall, and then when she react as an angry parent, normally she's wrong.
She's saying that because she said we, and you keep saying Kiana, like she already identified that her and her child's dad do this together. So don't keep saying she, Kiana.
Man, go on, man.
No, that's important, bro.
Because you addressed it as if she just single mom.
I understand that, but honestly, what I'm saying is I was looking at it from more as a moms with sons standpoint. Like Knuckles said, he could teach his sons how to fight and defend themselves.
We missed the comment.
You know what I'm saying? But is it that easy for a mom to teach her son how to fight and defend himself? You know what I'm saying?
It's another thing too, though. Y'all gotta peep. We talking about who right now? We talking about moms and sons. What about daughters?
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Females get bullied too.
That's what I'm saying.
They get bullied more than males, though.
So that's why I wasn't really saying them. I was just looking at it as, what about these? They, you know what I'm saying? They assist them, but what about the other Kianas out there with the just mom and son or mom and daughter with no dad around? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I mean,
It's difficult, but that's why I say we gotta ask the question. The question remains the same through every subject that we done brought up: is
what are we gonna do about it?
For sure.
What we gonna do? Like, and who's willing to actually come and do something versus just get on here and complain?
I will.
Could I ask how many of y'all commented? Cause like, as far as us, I know this is a group of guys that act on a situation like that and to do whatever they can to talk to whoever they got to talk to fix those problems. But how many of y'all would actually take the time out y'all day to support something like that?
I'm gonna just say this: when I get back involved and get into the school district, I'm making some noise, and they ain't gonna like it at all. I can care less. Because at the end of the day, I have children that are in this system now, so it is what it is. You know, you like it, love it, hate it. It is what it is. But the comment here said that it's about growth. Once you grow, social media to you is boring.
Facts.
That's true.
No, it's
not boring. I got
Tierra Miller, you know,
it's funny too.
Tierra Miller, you know I love you.
It's a lot of grown people that indulge in this Facebook stuff just as well as the young generation.
Yeah, but she said growth though, as far as mentally. You know what I'm saying?
That's true. But I mean, a lot of people see that word growth and think,
I'm grown. I am grown. Yeah, I got you.
One thing that we're gonna touch base on Tierra comment. Like you said, once you growth, social media is boring to you. Sometimes some people use social media for growth, and I don't mean just growth as in individual growth as a person. I mean it might be a growth for your brand. It may be a growth for your business. It may be a growth for your empire or whatever you got going on. So sometimes social media could be used to prosper and network and good. It ain't always just bad.
It depends on how you use it.
Exactly.
You got to use it to that platform.
Who's saying that comment to me? I don't remember who posted it. That said, I can't think of the word, but it was like small city syndrome or something like that. You posted that?
I did.
Man, if that ain't the biggest fact. So what was the definition to that?
Here, let's put it
small
up.
city syndrome.
We can pull it up actually.
Hey, after that, I want somebody to call in and give us some questions, man. I want some call-ins. You know what I'm saying? Debate over there. You know what I'm saying?
So they can see everything we see right now.
Oh, they looking at what we looking at right now?
Don't go on your recent searches.
It says small town syndrome.
Small town. Okay.
Someone with small town syndrome usually is majorly concerned with gossip and events only happening with the people in their town and let their life revolve around such meaningless rumors. They act as if life is high school. Parents and adults and children all engage in this cliquey behavior. And that doesn't define Beloit more than anything I've ever read in my life. But it says like, I don't know. I guess it's just saying it's a mindset. Like, you get in that mindset because all you pretty much know is Beloit, and you don't realize that there's more out there than Beloit if you ain't never got out of it.
So what I want to say about that is, so I've been in Beloit. I've been living in Beloit now for so long, over 10 years. So I'm Beloit. I'm Beloit. I'm from Beloit.
That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So
everybody.
But it's like it's a fact, man. I mean, Beloit does.
That's gonna be $5 a minute.
Oh, okay. I got you. Put it on my tab.
So I mean, Beloit as a whole. I mean, that's true, man. For one, so many people ain't been out of Beloit, and if they have, they come right back and they just stuck in this mindset that Beloit is everything, and we can't leave Beloit. And it's like, you gotta expand, even if you don't want to move away. I mean, go out, travel, man, and expand your mind.
That's no of being stuck in that mentality of being Beloit. I love my granny with all my heart, but she is stuck in Beloit. My cousin wanted to leave the city. He wanted to move away. I don't know why he want to leave. Like, it's much more to life than just being Beloit.
Hold on. Even too. My bad for cutting you off, but even too in big cities like take Chicago. You go to some like block, man. No lie, you got hoods where people ain't left their block.
Man,
but for sure, that's a love for their block. Like, I'm gonna be the first to say, I love Beloit. Like, there's a lot here, but again, the opportunity and the experience is what you make of it. Like, it's all about what you make of it. Like, if you indulge in that and you get into that, then you gonna dislike Beloit because of that. But like, if you're into Beloit and see the different things, the good things that are going on in Beloit, that's why there's a lot of
our demographic. You already know what that. You know what I'm saying?
It's perspective. They got to change their perspective. So what do we miss? Derek, Derek Betts said, honestly, it should be addressed, and the parents on both sides need to be able to mature and basically come to an agreement solution because I'm gonna get in my son's ass if he bullying anything. I'm gonna say no. The parents shouldn't have to get involved because the school should be a safe haven for all students.
No, he mean as a preventative maintenance. So before my son is even thinking about bullying somebody, you know what I'm saying? We cut that off. It ain't none of that. So that I definitely agree with, man.
That's a conversation you gotta have with your kids outside of school and just saying, hey, bullying is one thing that we won't have, that we won't stand for.
Right, but that's what you was talking about earlier. You know, coming from a certain home and having that kind of structure. You know.
All right, so
O'Malley said challenge to put forward more efforts in hiring social workers and psychiatrists to psychologists to address and help with underlying behavioral issues. Especially, some things are culturally based and some are afraid or just nervous about the initial approach. As facts, because you don't see, I'm just saying, you don't see too many black people that's going to say, I'm going to go see my psychiatrist. It's more
Hey, if you're a young boy said, I'll pay for therapy.
Listen,
I got my thoughts ahead of me.
Listen, I've got a counselor, and I go see my counselor frequently if I got a problem.
I'm not embarrassed at all.
Listen, stop scrolling on my thing, man. I'm trying to.
You gotta, when your kid, you gotta come out.
So he can't even read. He talking about, every time I scroll up, he talking about go back. He needed help reading the comment.
No, I'm trying to read it again. But I'm not embarrassed because at the end of the day, it made me the person I am today, and it teaches me how to deal with not only me but deal with other people. So with other people dealing with stuff. So it makes you recognize it. But
the reason I asked you if you're embarrassed about it because I know that you're not. But the reason that you're not embarrassed, maybe other people can get on here and see that, hey, maybe
that's self-care.
But check this. Pause real quick. It's a lot of people that done seen bodies drop, done seen people get murdered, raped, beat, all kind of things. But yet we as a people, it's our demographic. Because ain't nothing wrong with us, and we ain't got PTSD.
The black community as a whole treat depression like a joke. The black community treat depression and mental illness and those sort of issues like a joke. Like he said, we need the challenge to put forth more social workers and psychologists because we need more black people.
We need to go see,
but they elevated enough to deal with the people. Because they're not educated for that, bro.
Man, listen. If you talk to some of these teachers and ask them what their educational background is, a lot of these teachers are operating with masters.
And they be flying the fuck up.
That's advocate. Listen, that degree, it don't mean nothing, bro. What are you doing, bro?
It don't mean nothing, bro.
At all. So it's okay. What are you doing? How many teachers have you had? Guess you can read the book. How many teachers have you had?
A lot.
20 teachers?
Probably more than that.
Okay, so let's say you had a straight dub, right? How many of them were capable of helping you through more of a personal aspect versus a learning?
I would say just a handful.
I wouldn't even go that far too.
That's my life.
I ain't think I'm not one.
That part has nothing to do with the degree. That's because they can relate to me culturally. Like they can relate and understand me on a different level outside of the degree. Like that's kind of, I don't know. But I was going to say something. I forgot what I was going to say.
Well, to say black people have depression, you think that black people as a whole see that as a weakness.
Wait, go back up.
He scrolled past everything.
Wait, go up. No, go up some more. She said understood, but if you use social media for growth, you have to learn. You have to leave negative out of it.
Absolutely.
I don't know what she means by that, so I can't.
You have to pick your audience.
If you're going to use social media for growth, like I said, whether it's your business, your brand, your company, whatever it is, she's saying leave the negative aspect out of it. All that fighting on social media.
So check this. So for HP Club, I don't share nothing about HP Club on Facebook. Because and not because it's negative, but just because I want only car people, you know what I'm saying? That's on there. And that's my only audience. We can connect. If you're not a car person and you go on HP Club, it ain't gonna hit. But my Instagram is full of car people, so I put it on there. So yeah, you're right. You gotta pick and choose your audience. Facts. Small town syndrome is real.
Definitely. And then that's your OG. You want to read?
Yeah, I will support But you have to start somewhere. I will support, but you have to start somewhere. You all have to lead the way. Trust me, others will follow. I'm proud of my son and the rest of you all for engaging in healthy conversations.
Bro, that's your moms?
Yeah.
Bro, we got a hey, Miss Carter, man. We should have gave you a warm welcome on here. We ain't know you was first lady. I ain't know that was first lady on the.
That's because you kind of learned a little late. We seen her in the first comment.
She's in my HP club, so yeah, thanks, ma. I appreciate it.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
All right.
That's because it's possible to be here and not have small town syndrome. And it's not. Hold on.
I think it
is possible. Oh, okay, right. Fact. So yes, it is possible to be here and not have small town syndrome.
A lot of that is all about perspective. Like it's about your perspective. It's about how you see.
Hey, look at Travis.
Stuff like that. And Travis said, "Hold on, chill out on teachers." He
a teacher.
Oh, teachers.
But he was one of them teachers that he wanted them though. You know what I'm saying? But he said we right.
But from what I'm saying, he probably one of them teachers that we can relate, that we talking about.
Yeah, but Tatiana, you said it's possible to live here and not have small town syndrome. I think it's about the person and surroundings. That's all.
That's the people that go somewhere.
That's literally all in your head. That's a mental thing. You can break out of that if you really want to.
How though? Okay.
No, that's deep. That's kind of deep though.
This is my thing though. So what do we do? How? Tell the people how. First they say I got small town syndrome.
Go see a psychologist because you clearly dealing with some shit.
How will you want to at that point?
I'm embarrassed.
Okay. So look. Okay.
All you gotta look at it from a person's perspective.
All these conversations go together.
Look. So
all of them is hand in hand.
3 years ago, right? I took a road trip to down south somewhere. Right? 3 years ago, I took a road trip to down south somewhere.
Okay, bro.
I could say before that road trip, I was one of them people that has small town syndrome because I ain't never been nowhere. You know what I'm saying? After that road trip, it was probably one of the most humbling experiences ever.
So boom, because there you go. So you basically saying just get out and just see something.
Just see something different.
But he's saying something. You know how some people might think we saying see something like good. He's saying something worse than how we living. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
You know what I'm saying, bro? Like
smaller towns,
way smaller issues, way bigger issues, way worse living conditions.
Okay, he said
it humbled me. You know what I'm saying?
He said, okay, what if you scared to go see a psychologist? What do you do about that?
Right. I think that's a valid question. Are you embarrassed? Just so you can give your answer and so people can see it's not nothing to be. For one, I think everybody done been to a point where they done had a breakdown or they done had something catastrophic in their life happen. So I mean, could that warrant a psychiatrist?
But you gotta think about it like this though, because that get deep. Because me personally, I'm one of them type of people that think I think way too hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, why would I go see somebody if for them to tell me about me? Right? You know, why would I see somebody that I could be in their shoes? You know what I'm saying? It's all about.
That's what they specialize in. Well, why would somebody come see you to get a motor bill?
All right, so for me, I deal with death every day. That's my job, right? So like that. So I deal with death every day. So for me, it was, I got to the point where I was handling a lot of people that were either close to my age, I grew up with, or direct loved ones. So it's like, okay, man, you can't just handle all this by yourself. You got to do something. You got to talk to somebody because, like, you got to understand you dealing with sadness, grieving, everything. So, like, you literally have to bring the life, literally. So for me, it was like, okay, I need to do something. This nigga laughing at it. So for me, it was like I had to do something. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna go see a counselor, and from there I kept it because I've learned a lot. It teaches you how to communicate.
So without getting too personal, how's it helped you?
I see.
For how long?
It's been about 2 years or so.
And you can honestly say.
Honestly.
I can say it from the outside looking in, though. I ain't here trying to be funny. I can say it from, no bullshit, though. Like, I can see it, though.
Percocet?
Come on, man. Dude, you know? Hey, no, bro.
Hey, my tooth start hurting again.
Hey, but listen, though. Hey.
Like it was a peak.
You ain't see that video? Hey, but like another thing though with that embarrassment subject, you know what I'm saying? A lot of our generation is embarrassed to make certain moves due to the people around them and what they're gonna say, what they're gonna think. I done been there, you know what I'm saying? When I was in the streets, I was embarrassed.
It's a word for this: social acceptance. Everybody want to be accepted by the general public.
That's one of the most validations in the world.
And that's one of the most hardest.
It's not being accepted by the general public.
I tell people in a minute, man, I'm a weirdo, man. I'm different.
I'm crazy.
I'm gonna be who
I'm lactose retired.
I be up back and forth pacing in the middle of the night for no reason. Don't ask me why.
I spend 80% of my time thinking. I ain't even gonna lie.
You gotta do what you comfortable with and stop trying to fit in and be like everybody else.
Because whether you doing good, bad, or horrible, they gonna talk.
I saw this on Facebook. It says, "Just be you. Everybody else will adjust."
Facts.
Hey, a teacher will fall off. A teacher told me,
people ain't gonna mess with you.
I'll never forget. Shout out Paris Eccles. He told me one day, because if you know him, you see how he gifted. He do him. You know what I'm saying? However, you might see him at the school teaching and DJing the next night, looking like a whole different person. That's my man's though. But hey, he always told me, stay true to you. You know what I'm saying? That's all you gotta do is stay true to yourself. If you know what I'm saying.
No and not if you look like Kevin, you better be true to somebody else.
Listen,
I'm trying to refrain from doing it, but you put calls, man. Yeah, we ain't got no calls, man. I'm finna get high, man. I love y'all, man.
Wow.
Peace to the Middle East. He wasn't lying. Peace to the Middle East, man. I love y'all, man.
Percocet.
You know what?
So O'Malley said, agree. I'm glad that was brought up. We can have degrees, but they mean nothing. We're not using them in the correct manner. More so simple communication. Hey, how you doing? I'm Mr. Lomax, or you can call me O. I see you having a bit of a rough day. Simple communication, but it has to have genuine concern behind it, or it will not matter. That's true. If that passion and that concern ain't really there, it won't hold no weight, because people pick up on that. Like,
hey, she making me feel bad, man. She talking about we need some women in here, like we just distanced them out or something, man. Hey, going at it, Joe. I like that though.
Yeah, I mean, y'all time.
But call in though. Call in.
Hey,
they can see that though.
Yeah, they can see that. Y'all time will come, and they ain't calling and said nothing. So I mean, all right. Dang, that nigga really just left.
They both dropped off.
Yeah,
50 Zay in trouble.
he left.
I done seen him pacing through his trip. He don't know the building better than you. I can tell you that.
We had an hour and 20 minutes, so we gonna go ahead and conclude it. Again, thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all for coming through.
For sure.
You gotta have us again, though, man. I like this, though.
Y'all be on the lookout for HP Club, what they'll be doing in the community events. Tell them I need a hoodie and a hat. You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's just fair. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. Again, thank y'all for tuning in. Please like, share, and make sure you subscribe on YouTube.
I wouldn't say one thing though. As far as HP Club, if you got any questions about anything, you know what I'm saying, any issues with cars, even if it's life, you know what I'm saying, for my young brothers, you know what I'm saying, you can hit us. We do this all day long. We debate, we talk, we go through problems every day, you know what I'm saying, help each other or whatever.
I need my car fixed.
That's actually
mechanics.
So that's actually how I met Knuckles, you know what I'm saying? It wasn't always about cars. It was when I was a young hothead, you know what I'm saying, he was on my heels. So
we just use the cars just as a connection.
You know what I'm saying? That just was something we both was interested in.
Hey, y'all know what I started to do?
What?
Armand want to join HP Club.
Yeah, I hollered at Armand. Armand, man, hit me up, inbox me or something.
Hey, so since I wasn't really a car advocate, I started to put on all my paintball gear and come in here and sit with my paintball gear, because I was like, man, listen, I needed something that's dear to me, because they gonna be talking about their cars, but I ain't do it.
We ain't gonna talk about our cars, y'all see it soon. We ain't gonna
I showed you.
on the city.
I do got an MC with a
That's why I sold it now.
I got an MC with a big block.
He a big block.
I heard a song with a rapper talking about he got a something with a big box motor, and I'm like,
that's something that he didn't say. Oh what?
Big box motor. Where they do them at?
I got one of them too. I got a Chevy.
Look at Travis talking about.
I got a.
Hey,
He talking about T.
he a hater, man.
Well, all right, y'all. Y'all got anything y'all want to say?
No, man, that's
Hey, stay tuned though. Hey, you can even look on Kevin page because I'm gonna slap him if he don't share.
Oh yeah,
so it's coming.
So this conversation will continue next week. I'm gonna have different guests, but we are gonna continue this conversation next week. So be on the lookout next Sunday at 7:30. And she said we need women. There will be women next week. So be on the lookout.
no, man.
What happened?
I was gonna say you might have trouble getting the women, so I can help you. Hey, listen.
Oh man,
I've been having a lot of jokes.
hey, you know what? Let's say we did good because with me and James and them and you, I thought this was gonna be like, you know what I'm saying? I didn't expect this. We did real good.
I sure was gonna say who was
I'm
that?
famous on here.
T in trouble.
Hey, why is y'all getting on here saying hi to T? Like, he should be the last person. My face is in the corner. Like,
They ain't liking that. That's what he trying to tell you.
That's the face.
Hey, listen, it ain't gonna be no HP club.
I ain't know what
I'm
that
not the
was.
H right off the P's, man. It's just gonna be P club.
What she talking about? She talking about me.
That's my teacher.
Oh, she wanna be on next week. I think she's. No, Miss Bailey, for real. If you want to, for real.
Hey, she like that.
Watch it right now.
You can come next week.
It's finna be a heat session.
Hey, oh, now it's okay. Hi, Kevin. Wow. Okay.
You ain't you.
I see how
He been wanting to beat me all my life.
Show,
and they acknowledge me. You know what I'm saying?
Treat me like
He trying to take my thing. You know what I'm saying?
like dog water, man. Come on. Okay. But yeah, for real, y'all tune in.
It's on YouTube, right?
No, I have to put it on YouTube because I didn't stream both, but it will be on there. So y'all
You got
can share it.
a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah. So yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe, man. We'll be back next week. HP Club, I enjoy having y'all. Thank y'all for coming.
Follow me, add me, Terrence Sims on Facebook if y'all, you know what I'm saying, if y'all don't know. HP Club, check it out.
Hey, HP Club. David said I thought we were supposed to be at home with y'all mask.
All my people on here.
We ain't got that.
Hey, no, I'm drinking that anti-corona drink.
Hey, we ain't got that Rona. And it's at least
Smart water.
in here, so
This
it ain't gonna last.
You gotta read the ingredients to the smart water. They said something about all that.
Still a slow mo.
You know.
Alright, y'all.
Oh, man.
Hey, that was nice though, man. I liked that.
And you gotta get us off of it because I got something I'm gonna say. I'm probably gotta walk.
Recipe book.